this life, there are certain things that we do, or maybe certain battles that we face, and it just feels like at this point in time you're supposed to be happy, but there is this overwhelming sadness, right? I remember the story of David and Absalom. The story of David and Absalom, his son, is it's a very interesting one, because so you have David, king of Israel, and I mean things were going on fine. Then his son Absalom, because there are a lot of background stories to this, but his son Absalom decided that, you know what, I'm going to take over the kingdom. And he recruited people in government, people that were working with his dad, and immediately the father heard that there was this particular Ahithophel, is like the most trusted counselor, right? Anything he says if you do this, you will get the result that you want. And immediately David heard that Ahithophel was on the side of Absalom. He was like, you know what, it's all over, like everything is over. He just packed himself. Imagine a king, you leaving his territory, left the palace, left everything, and then decided to run away. That was the case of David. And I mean, you have Absalom obviously was out to kill. He ran away. Basically, he just like took off, right? And along the line, David was like, I mean, the servants, people followed him because David is David, he's the king, and they really loved him, or they really love him. And strategizing, I mean, you cannot just give up the fight like that. And I think at the end of the day, I don't know what David was thinking, because when, I mean, he sent somebody back, you know what, don't be with me, go and listen to what these guys are saying, and then whatever Ahithophel says, you just give a counter opinion and things like that. I mean, they're dedicated to God, that God save me, or things like that, right? And things went in his favor, let's put it that way. Things went in his favor, and then Joab is a very stubborn guy. Like, he's really stubborn. If the king said go this way, this guy will go the other way. There were people that he killed, the king didn't send him, I just killed them, because he's like, I'm going to reduce my competition, right? So the king, imagine this, or picture this, right? You have an enemy, you are out to fight, and then there is an instruction to say, don't kill the enemy, take it easy on the enemy. And I mean, that was what the children of Israel were going to follow, the king's instruction. And then by the time they got there, Joab, because he's a stubborn person, killed Absalom, right? In fact, before he killed Absalom, they're like, the king said we should not kill him. I was like, I beg, I will kill this one. So he killed Absalom, and then he sent word to the king to say, you know what, your enemy is dead. So it was a case of David is supposed to be happy that finally, I mean, he didn't kill Absalom, but by some reason, Absalom is dead, and he was mourning his son. I mean, it was supposed to be a good news to the whole country. The person that sent out the king did so many things, is now finally dead, and then the king is sad, mourning his son. And imagine coming back from a battle, excited, we won, and then you meet your boss, and the person is really sad that you won, because essentially that's the meaning of what David did. And people were sad, they went back home, everybody just, you know what, dispersed, went back to their homes, sad and things like that, because I mean, the king is sad. And Joab sent word to him, says, it's like something is wrong somewhere, there's something I'm not understanding, because your enemy, we killed him. You are mourning this son. That it will think that because the amount of love you have for this your son, it would have been better if your son killed everybody in the country. You would have been happier, and if he was alive, and everybody else in the country are dead. Says you better go and meet your people. Go and stand in the gate. If not, the thing that your eyes will see. Here you are seeing your son. You will see all the evil that have ever come upon you. It will be worse. And David, you know what, gathered himself and went out, and people came to meet the king, and he was like, okay, the king is now available to be seen, the king is now available to hear us and discuss with us and things like that. And it's just a situation where I mean, you don't know if you should be happy, you should be sad. What's the response? But it all boils down to all of these things happened because of the sin that David committed, and sometimes we don't understand the repercussion of certain things that we do. It just feels like, you know what, I'm doing this, it's me, it's not anybody else, it's just me. But the repercussion of this leads to so many other things, right? So when the scriptures tell us, oh, don't do this, don't do that, it's not because the Bible wants us or God wants us to, you know what, because you're a Christian, you're supposed to carry a straight face and just be moping and just be generally solemn. I mean, in the presence of God, there is fullness of joy, right? And in that freedom, in the freedom that we have received, in the joy that we have received, there is the sense of responsibility towards God. There is a sense of accountability, saying, you know what God has said I should do, I'll do. What God has said don't do, I'm not going to do. I hope this blesses you. I hope this has blessed you. Let me know what you learned in the comments. If you have, I mean, you probably have read the story of David and Absalom. If you have interesting thoughts, let me know in the comment section.